So far, all of these components have been classes, but they don't all necessarily have to be. Classes can also be functions. Components can also be functions. They can be classes or functions. But you have to meet certain conditions in order for your component to be doable as a function. Criterion number 1, it cannot have state. So as soon as you need state, you need a class that inherits from component instead of just a function. Chat header, all in the world it has in it is the name of the channel and a description of the channel. And this is probably not going to be the component where that lives, right? That's going to come from somewhere else. Because we're going to click something in the sidebar that opens up the new channel, right? So that's going to live in the state of some other component. So it's going to end up in chat header as what? If not state, then props, right? So it's probably going to come in as a prop. So the point is, chat header probably doesn't need to manage its own state. So we should be able to make this what's called a stateless functional component. In other words, the whole component can be just one function. It's a little simpler. And there's some advantages. There are going to be notes on today's website with some blog posts explaining some of the benefits of using stateless functional components whenever you can. There'll be links to the official documentation about it. It's a big topic, easily Googleable. But bottom line, whenever we can get away with a stateless functional component, we're going to. So it's pretty easy to change a class into a stateless functional component. We no longer need to import component. We just need to import React. But we do need to import React. So let's change the first line to get rid of comma component. Then instead of class chat header extends component, we'll have const chat header equals an arrow function. So now the whole component is just a big function. No, we can do that either way. You can do everything with a class. A class gives you everything you would get from doing a function, but a function, if you don't need state, you can get away with a function. And whenever we can, we want to, because it's a lot simpler. So then we don't need a render method, because the whole component is the render method. All we have to do is write a function that returns some JSX. A function that returns some JSX, or a function that returns a React element, is a complete component. It's just like that. Do that, and nothing should change. Yep, it's just one big function that returns some JSX. And that's a totally valid component. It's just as soon as we need state or something, we can't do this. So if you have props, the props are just going to come in as an argument to this function. It's going to be passed in like that. Now, we don't need those yet, but that's what's going to happen. You can still have props because they'll be passed in as an argument. Was that your question, or?
No, how's that keyboard shortcut work to move it all over?
Like this? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, highlight the lines and do Command or Control right bracket or left bracket. Control right square bracket, left square bracket. You can always do the line you're on by just, you don't have to highlight it. You can just do that. But if you have multiple ones highlighted, yep. Yep. So the entire component is just one big function that returns some JSX. And as long as you've imported React, that's all you have to do. Totally valid component. So whenever we can get away with this, we're going to do it. If we look in our React Dev Tools and look up chat header, don't forget the search bar is here. Super handy for troubleshooting. Let's just search for our component. There it is. Yep, it has no props, but we'll see that it is treating it as a component. So that's pretty cool. So use a stateless functional component.